You know, when you argue with a fool, you just prove there are two. And I consider Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the Squad. I consider them to be fools.
Wow. Just let that sink in for a second. What you just witnessed cuts straight to the heart of what this entire controversy is really about. Senator John Kennedy didn't dance around the issue, didn't hide behind political jargon. He laid it out in plain, unmistakable language. And the moment real accountability entered the conversation, all hell broke loose. The situation surrounding Ilhan Omar didn't happen overnight. This has been building for years, and now it's finally reached a breaking point that forces a question many have avoided for far too long. Is this actually about protecting free speech? Or is it about whether elected officials should face consequences for what they say, especially when they represent the United States on the world stage? As we break down the full clips, I'll show you why Senator Kennedy's argument lands with precision, and why removing Omar from the House Foreign Affairs Committee wasn't some impulsive political revenge. It was a calculated decision aimed at preserving the credibility and integrity of the nation itself. So stay locked in. And if you're tired of political theater and want clear, no-nonsense analysis without the spin, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next.
Of the United States Congress and the American people, then who tweets what to whom. So let me say it one more time. I thought in the president's original tweet, I thought it was a poor choice of words. I think I know what the president meant, and he clarified later and said, look, if you're not happy in America, leave. Just leave. And I agree with that. But his original articulation of that concept, in my opinion, fell short of the mark. Number two, frankly, I don't know why the president felt the need to tweet on this subject at all. You know, when you argue with a fool, you just prove there are two. And I consider Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the Squad. I consider them to be fools. They hate America. They think America was wicked in its origins, and it's even more wicked today. They ought to be thanking America instead of calling America evil and wicked and racist. But this is America, and they have the right to their opinion. But I don't like to see the president even dignify their point of view. Besides that, I think that the Squad, as they call themselves, they are destroying the Democratic Party. You know, when your opponent is screwing up, don't interrupt him. Let him go. I mean, just looking at this from a political standpoint, if I didn't know better, I would think the members of the Squad were GOP plants. I mean, they think that illegal immigration, socialism, higher taxes, abortion are all moral goods. They think America, Israel, free enterprise are moral bads. That's not what most Americans believe. And that's kind of where I am on the subject. The president has explained his position. He has said, look, here's what I meant. If you're not happy living in America, leave. It's a free country, and I agree with that assessment.
If I am not on this committee for one term, my voice will get louder and stronger, and my leadership will be celebrated around the world as it has been.
Today's resolution, as it relates to Representative Omar, details 6 statements she made as a sitting member of Congress that under the totality of the circumstances disqualify her from serving on the Committee on Foreign Affairs.
Don't tell me this is about consistency. Don't tell me that this is about a condemnation of anti-Semitic remarks when you have a member of the Republican caucus who has talked about Jewish space lasers and an entire amount of tropes and also elevated her to some of the highest committee assignments in this body. This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology when my life was threatened.
The representative can say whatever the heck she wants, but we don't have to accept it or embrace it. Individuals who hold such hateful views should rightly be barred from that type of committee.
This institution is better because of her leadership, and the Foreign Affairs Committee benefits from her perspective. So let's talk about what's really happening. Republicans are waging a blatantly Islamophobic and racist attack on Congresswoman Omar. And I've said it before, I will say it again. The white supremacy happening is unbelievable. This is despicable.
We're not removing her from other committees. We just do not believe when it comes to foreign affairs, especially the responsibility of that position around the world.
All right, now that you've seen the full picture, it's time to confront what actually happened here. You watched Senator John Kennedy methodically and calmly lay out his case. And then you saw what followed. The moment accountability entered the conversation, the debate on the House floor immediately turned emotional and explosive. That contrast tells you everything you need to know. Let's be crystal clear about what this was, and what it wasn't. The vote to remove Ilhan Omar from the House Foreign Affairs Committee was not some random political ambush, no matter how loudly her defenders, especially Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, try to frame it that way. This was a response to a documented pattern of behavior and a series of specific statements that many lawmakers believe are fundamentally incompatible with representing American interests on the global stage. As Representative Michael Guest pointed out, this decision centered on at least 6 separate remarks. Statements so serious that Representative Omar herself issued apologies for invoking anti-Semitic tropes. That's not a minor footnote. That's a serious concern when the role in question involves foreign relations and diplomacy. And that brings us to Senator Kennedy's most uncomfortable point, the one critics prefer to avoid. His argument wasn't about ordinary policy disagreements. It was about a mindset. When elected officials describe America not as a flawed nation striving to improve, but as one that is fundamentally corrupt or evil, that crosses a line. That's not a debate over tax rates or foreign aid levels. It's an attack on the legitimacy and character of the country itself. Predictably, Omar's defenders responded by labeling any criticism as racism or Islamophobia, shifting the focus from her record to her identity. But that tactic avoids the substance of the issue and shuts down meaningful debate. As then, Speaker Kevin McCarthy explained, this wasn't about silencing Omar or removing her from Congress. It was about assigning the right people to the right roles, especially on a committee that requires confidence in America's role as a force for good in the world. At its core, this all comes down to a simple principle Senator Kennedy summed up perfectly. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. Representative Omar is entitled to her opinions, but when those opinions are paired with institutional power, they carry real weight. Removing her from this specific, sensitive committee was framed as a stand for accountability and national credibility, reinforcing the idea that while America is not perfect and should always strive to improve, it is still a country worth defending, and its foreign policy should be shaped by those who truly believe that.